What do you intend to do? Why is the work important? What has already been done? How are you going to do the work? These are some questions that should be addressed when you are working on your research plan. Hello my dear students, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is me once again, Teacher Teen, your research teacher for today. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Research 2. Welcome back to another vlog. For today's vlog, we are going to discuss about how to write the research plan and what are the essential parts of a research plan. If you are one of the students under the STE program or the Science, Technology, and Engineering program and you are working on your science investigatory project, this lesson is for you. Paano nga ba nagsusulat ng research plan? Para saan ang research plan? At bakit may research plan? Okay, let us define first the research plan. When we say research plan, this is the main part of a grant application and describes the principal investigator's proposed research. And in this lesson vlog, we will discuss the essential parts of the research plan. Alam nyo kasi, this research plan, it gives the principal investigator the opportunity to discuss proposed research wherein they are stating its importance and how it will be conducted. Okay, if you can still remember our previous discussion about the research forms, this one, so makikita natin tong research plan after ng research form 1A, which is the student checklist. And we know that research forms is very important also when you are conducting your science investigatory project because this should be submitted prior to your research investigation or research experiment. So this research plan or the project summary instructions, so remember that a complete research plan or project summary, it is required for all projects. So, walang kinikilingan, walang pinipili. Lahat ng projects kailangan ng research plan. And this must accompany the student checklist 1A or the form 1A. So, ka-attach po ito ng student checklist form 1A. Okay? Tandaan. And then, kung mabivisit nyo yung Intel ISEF rules and guidelines in the conduct of research, makikita nyo doon yung mga important details kung para saan ba ito at bakit kailangan ng research plan. You must all remember that all projects must have a research plan or project summary. So first, written prior to experimentation following the instructions to detail the rationale, research questions, methodology, and risk assessment of the proposed research. If changes are made during the research, such changes can be added to the original research plan as an addendum, recognizing that some changes may require returning to the IRB or SRC for appropriate review and approvals. If no additional approvals are required, this addendum serves as a project summary to explain research that was conducted. If no changes are made from the original research plan, no project summary is required. Remember that some studies, such as engineering design or mathematics projects, will be less detailed in the initial project plan and will change through the course of research. If such changes occur, a project summary that explains what's done is required and can be appended to the original research plan. Okay, now, let us discuss the essential parts of a research plan. So, ano ba yung mga parts na makikita nyo pag gumagawa kayo ng research plan? First, we have the rationale. Second, we have the research questions, hypotheses, engineering goals, expected outcomes, and we also have the procedures, risk and safety, data analysis, and of course, we have the bibliography. Okay, let us explain it further. So, let's start with the rationale. Para saan ba yung rationale? Okay, when we say rationale, this include a brief context synopsis that supports your research problem and explain why this research is relevant. And of course, this rationale also explain the societal effect of your research where applicable. So when we say rationale, kagaya ng sinabi kanina dito, it's a context synopsis that supports your research problem. Synopsis, when we say synopsis, it means summary, diba? It's like a synthesis. So dapat pag binasa ng reader or ng other researcher or nung mga judges ninyo, yung inyong rationale, makikita na agad dyan kung ano ba ang pinagagawa nyo sa inyong research project. So, ano yung mga gagawin nyo dyan? So, tungkol ba saan to? So, kumbaga sa movie, it's the trailer. Okay? So, pag pinanood, diba natin yung trailer, alam na natin kung anong mangyayari sa palabas. Alam na natin yung plot at alam na natin kung tungkol saan yung movie. So, di ba ganun pa tayo pag may sinuggest sa inyong movie yung classmate nyo, yung friend nyo, tatanong nyo agad, where's the trailer? And I want to watch the trailer first. So, kasi yung rationale, yun yung nagsiserve as trailer of your whole project. So, I will give you example of rationale and how it goes. Okay. This is how the rationale should be written. So, let's say, for example, the title of your science investigatory project is The Efficacy of Bignai Fruit Extract Against the Rice Blast Fungus. So, the rationale goes like this. Rice is one of the staple food crops and cultivated in about 11% of the total land area globally. About 900 million of the world's population is considered to be dependent on rice as producers or consumers. In the Philippines, there is a big demand for this crop because the average diet is based on rice. Crop loss has become a great risk, particularly for poor farmers with unfavorable environments and on food security in general. World Bank 2015. So when you're writing your rationale, make sure that you have written also the reference on where you get this information. And of course, you will not just copy it, but you have to rephrase what you have read from other resources. So another one. Magna Porte Oryzae, the causal agent of rice blast disease, has been recognized as the most devastating threat to food security worldwide. The ability of this fungus is to quickly overcome resistance within a short time after the release of a new cultivar by Usman and Magaji 2017. Meaning to say, this information came from the information of Usman and Magaji. So in order to control this kind of plant disease, the use of resistant cultivars and chemical fungicides play an important role in treating Magna Porte Oryzae. However, the frequent use of the chemical fungicides on crops may cause hazards to human beings, plant health, beneficial microorganisms, and develop fungicide resistance into the pathogens and residual toxicity in plant parts. It has also increased costs to growers. Kian and Brown 2014. So as you can notice, every paragraph or every information has its resources, and you should not ignore that. Do not neglect the author where you get the information about your variables. Okay, so I won't read this anymore, but the rationale should go like this. Okay, ayan. So, binanggit dito ko yung tungkol sa Bignai, which is yung ating ayan, yan, efficacy of Bignai fruit extract, which is yung ating one of the variables in our study. So, anong sinabi dito sa huli? Sa kahulihan, sinabi dito na the researchers come up to the study efficacy of Bignai fruit extract against the rice blast fungus to prevent this disease on rice crops and to test if Bignai can be used as an effective organic fungicide. So, as you can see, dito sa rationale, makikita natin yung tungkol dun sa variable. Para ba siyang it is somehow like an introduction. Tungkol sa rice, okay, which is makikita natin sa title natin. Binanggit yung tungkol sa Bignai at binanggit ang tungkol dito sa Magna Porte Oryzae, which is yung Bast fungus. And then afterwards, yung kahulihang part dito, So, ito sinabi rin pala dito na in connection, it is concerned to look at environmental and economically friendly like plans that can be a solution to this problem. So, kailangan yung banggitin bakit nyo ginawa yan, para saan ba yan, paano siya makakatulong. And then, this one, sa last part nga, parang babanggitin nyo dyan, bakit kayo nag-come up dun sa study na to, para saan ba siya. So, ibig sabihin, kailangan nyo rin ilagay yung aim or goal ng inyong research sa Rationale. Okay, now, let us discuss about the research question. This is the second part of your research plan. So, when we say research question, it is a professional inquiry into a particular issue or problem or concern. So, it is a first step toward your research project, and the initial step means that the research question is the first active phase in the research process. After you have an idea of what you want to test. When it comes to research questions, this is somehow you're going to write the aim or the goal or the objectives of your research. So, ano ba yung mga kailangan yung itanong para ma-achieve nyo yung kung effective ba itong gagawin yung research. Okay? So, kumbaga sa research questions, para tong statement of the problem. So, ilalagay nyo, ano ba yung kailangan nyong malaman na, ano yung aim nyo about this project. So, let's say, for example, okay, same study. So, research questions. So, the study efficacy of bignai fruit extract against the rice blast fungus aims to know the following. So, let's say, for example, you have two aims. First, the most effective concentration of bignai fruit extract against the rice blast fungus. Okay, and the other one is the significant difference between the negative control and the experimental setups in inhibiting the growth of the rice blast fungus or magna forte or rhizae. So, this is how you write the research questions. Okay, at kung papansin ninyo, paano ba siya sinusulat simula sa research sa Rationale? So, siya po ay okay, kung titingnan nyo dito is, yan, 2 ang spacing natin dyan. Okay, so this is how you write the research question. Okay, next, we have the hypothesis. Paano sinusulat ang hypothesis naman? Remember that hypothesis, meron tayong dalawang example dyan. So, we have the null hypothesis and also the alternative hypothesis. But most of the time, so we are using the null hypothesis. Okay, when we say hypothesis, I know that you are really familiar with this because it's the scientific guess or the educated guess. So, of course, part of your research plan is to write your hypothesis and you have to write your educated guess for your study. Example of hypothesis. So, we have here the null hypothesis 1, which is there is no significant difference among the different concentrations of bignai antidesmabunius fruit extract against the rice blast fungus magna forte or rhizae. So, the other one, null hypothesis, there is no significant difference between the negative control and the experimental setups against the rice blast fungus magna forte or rhizae. Okay, the next one is the engineering goal. So, ano naman yung engineering goal? So, when we say engineering goal, this is a prerequisite that the student illustrate a real-world problem that his project might solve. And if you're writing your research, your engineering goal, you have to write your aim and objective in your study that focus on solving the specific problem. So, paano po siya naging different naman from the research questions that we had on the second part? So, pagdating kasi sa engineering goal, kailangan isulat nyo dyan, kailangan nyo ring ma-emphasize dyan kung ano ba yung mismong benefit nitong ating research project na ginagawa nyo. Sabi nga dito is, the student should illustrate the real-world problem that his project might solve. So, hindi lang basta goal siya hindi lang siya mismong goal nung detailed goal dun sa research questions kasi, di ba, i-detail natin yung goal natin sa mismong project para malaman natin if our research problem is really effective or not. So, when it comes to the engineering goal, so kailangan nating ilagay dito, i-focus natin yung ano ba talaga paano ba siya makakasolve ng problem. So, ibig sabihin, you have to write the most problem, and then how your project will help or will solve that specific problem. Paano masasolve niyan yung problem na kinakaharap nung society mo. Okay? So, that is for the engineering goal. The other one is the expected outcome. So, part din po yan ng research plan. From the word itself, expected outcome. So, ibig sabihin, ang tanong dito is, what will your project accomplish? How well can it accomplish that goal? Yun ang ilalagay nyo sa expected outcome. So, kailangan na nating ilatag, ano ba ang mangyayari at the end of this research project, at the end of this experimentation. So, what could be the outcome of this? Okay, let's say, for example, the expected outcomes is this. The research study efficacy of Bignai fruit extract against the rice blossom fungus is expected to have a positive results that will prove that the Bignai has potential as an effective biofungicide against the rice blossom fungus or the Magna Forte oryzae. This study will also expect that Bignai fruit extract will inhibit and kill the fungi. So, nilagay natin dito ano yung expected outcome. Sabi dito, expected to have a positive results that will prove that Bignai has potential as an effective biofungicide. So, ilalagay natin dito ay expected outcome. So, ano ba ang magiging resulta ng inyong research project? Another part of your research plan is the procedure. So, from the word itself, procedure, I know that you are familiar with this. It's the method. It's the process. Okay, you have to write all the processes and experimental design in detail, including the data collection methods and the source of data used where applicable. So, everything about the procedure should be written here. Pamula kung paano ba kayo nag-gather ng data, or kung may mga survey kayo, paano nyo ba kinuha yung mga instruments na gagamitin ninyo, sino ang mga respondents, paano nyo ginather din yung mga respondents nyo, paano nyo kinolect yung data, paano nyo kinuha yung source, and everything. So, everything about the process, kung paano nyo matatapos at makukuha ang mga information, ang mga kinakailangan na data para ma-analyze natin at ma-interpret yung whole research project nyo. So, sa procedure, so dapat nakasulat dyan. Okay, let us say, for example, the procedures is this. In order to conduct the study efficacy of Bignai fruit extract against the rice blossom fungus, these are the following methods that will be conducted by the researchers. So, let's say, for example, plant material and culture of microorganism. So, ripe fruits of Bignai will be collected in Lucena City. Bignai with scientific name Antedesma buños were identified at the Museum of Natural History, Laguna, Philippines. In obtaining the fungus, the infected part of the leaves of rice crops will be cut into 2x2 or 2x2 mm pieces, transferred in sterile beaker for in disinfecting with 10% sodium hypochlorite, and then rinse 3 times in sterile distilled water. The cut sections will be transferred to sterile Petri plates with 15 mm of potato dextrose agar, which is hardened, and so on and so forth. So, kung mapapansin nyo, class, so, di ba, yung beaker, okay, naka-note dyan na 100 mm. Okay, kung paano nyo ikakat, hindi sinabing by small or big, pero naka-indicate gaano kalaki. Hindi rin sinabi kung few or some, pero sinabi mismo yung percentage kung gaano kataas yung percentage ng sodium hypochlorite. So, kumbaga, kapag gumagawa tayo ng methods and procedure, dapat it is identified, it is specific. Okay, sinabi rin dito kung saan siya makukuha. Okay, makukuha siya sa Lucena City. So, ayan, pagkatapos niyan, paano nyo to, itong sa first part na yan, paano nyo makukuha yung plant material. And then, dun sa next one is the extraction of Bignai. So, i-indicate nyo din dito paano nyo ba i-extract yung bignay. Hindi mo basta sasabihin na the bignay was extracted, but you have to detail how the bignay was being extracted. Kagaya ang sabi dito, the bignay fruits was washed thoroughly and crushed into using mortar and pestle. For the mark or solid residue, the researchers used cheesecloth that was pressed to get the juice on the fruit. So, di ba? Kitang-kita nyo na very detailed. And of course, after that, you have the treatment and general procedure. So, ilalagay nyo yung treatment, kailangan nyo ilagay yung research design. So, ano po ba ang setups ninyo? Ano ang meron sa bawat setup? So, for example, dito 100% ang bignay, naging 75, tapos naging 50, naging 25 dun sa setup D. Ayan, this is for the research design. So, and of course, hindi lang basta ilalagay nyo siya sa table, but you have to explain it. Okay, explain nyo ano bang meron dyan sa table na yan. Kasi not all reader, not all students who will read your research paper can understand this table. So, you have to write it in words. And then, of course, after that, determining the antifungal activity. So, kailangan isusulat nyo rin dyan. Paano mo ma-identify or paano mo ma-determine yung antifungal activity? Sabi dito, antifungal activity will be measured using this diffusion test. Agar plates were inoculated with standardized inoculum of the desk microorganism. Then, about 6 mm in diameter filter paper disc containing the bignay extract at a desired concentration will be placed on the agar surface. Okay? So, kumbaga, lahat yan ay kailangan very detailed. Okay? And then, okay, so that is for the procedure. So, hindi lang basta makapagsulat or one sentence only, but you have to write it in detail. Another part of research plan is the risk and safety. From the word itself, risk and safety, of course, we have to identify the potential hazards and necessary safety precautions. Remember that you are dealing with science investigatory project. So there are lots of hazards that you may encounter while you are doing your science investigatory project or any research project. So it's really important that we know how to take a look of those risks. Kailangan alam natin ano yung mga safety na kailangan nating i-measure. So ano yung mga safety precautions? Bakit kailangan ito? Syempre, para prepared tayo sa possible hazards na pwede nating ma-encounter while we are doing such experiments. So, hindi pwedeng, hindi tayo handa. Dapat laging handa sa anumang sakuna. So, kailangan isulat din natin siya. Okay, for this part, you have to write risk and safety. Okay, and then look at this example. In the study efficacy of bignay fruit extract against the rice blast fungus, the researchers identified the possible risk in conducting the experiment. At hindi lang sinabi na na-identify ng researchers yung mga possible risk. So, kailangan iisa-isahin nyo dun, ano ba yung mga possible risk na yon? Sabi dito, since the researchers will be handling a microorganisms which is a fungus Magna Porte oryzae, it is advisable to use proper laboratory suit and should be with qualified scientists. Okay, syempre kailangan ng qualified scientists kasi sila yung mas nakakaalam tungkol dun sa microorganism na to. And needs to add more readings on risk and safety in handling rice blast fungus. So, pwede nyo pa itong dagdagan. So, aside from that, ano ba yung meron dito sa microorganism na fungus na to? Bakit siya risky? Ano yung mga possible risks na pwedeng ma-encounter if you are exposing to this kind of microorganism? So, pwede nyo siyang iisa-isahin dyan, and then you have to write the advices where you can advise to other researchers kapag sila naman ang makaka-encounter ng ganitong klase ng fungus or microorganism. Next part of the research plan, we have the data analysis. So from the word itself, data and analysis, we are analyzing the data that we have gathered from our experimentation in our research project. So ano ba meron sa data analysis? So when we say data analysis, this is the process of inspecting, cleansing, and transforming and modeling with the goal of answering or discovering useful information, informing conclusions, and supporting decision-making. So, nag-analyze na tayo dito after nating makalap, makolek lahat ng data na kinakailangan. So, hindi lang siya basta i-organize at i-present ng maayos through different methods of presenting data, kagaya ng charts, tables, or graph. So, kailangan nating i-analyze. Bakit ba ina-analyze? Siyempre, para malaman natin kung talaga bang significant yung ginawa nating experiment para dun sa ating research project. Sabi nga dito is, goal of discovering useful information. We have to inform the conclusions. And it is the process of inspecting. So talagang, kumbaga, i-scrutinize natin kung ano yung nakuha nating data doon sa ginawa nating experiment. And last part of your research plan, of course, is your bibliography. So, bibliography, this is the list of significant references. Siyempre, di ba, nagbabasa kayo ng ibang research. Nagbabasa kayo para may mailagay kayo dun sa background knowledge or dun sa review of literature. So, talagang kailangan nyo ng tulong from other researchers. And those information that you've gathered from other resources, you have to cite the reference. So, kailangan yung i-cite siya para na rin mabigyan ng credits yung mga authors na pinagkuhanan nyo ng information about your research project. So, paano ba sinusulat ang bibliography? Well, actually, meron tayong iba't ibang type ng referencing. So, andyan yung APA style, the MLA style, and the Chicago Manual of Style. But I have a separate video lesson for that topic. But for now, I will give you example on how the bibliography is being written. Okay, this is how the bibliography is being written. So, you have to write the word bibliography here, which is naka-bold siya, And then this one, so, Bonfietti LX, Izquierdo A, Melhem, MC, and Tudela J and R, 2015 September. Susceptibility test for fungi, clinical, and laboratorial correlations in medical mycology retrieved from. Okay, so this is an example of bibliography. But of course, you have, so this is example of the APA style. So kapag APA style, andyan yung, kailangan nyo munang isulat yung surname, and then yung initial lang naman nung tao, which is si Bonfietti. And then, kung sila ay 3, 4, 5, 6, pwede nyo isulat lahat sila. Syempre, nasa pinakaunahan yung main author. Pero kung lampas na siya ng 6 pataas, so pwede nyo nang ilagay na lang si Bonfietti LX, then lagyan nyo lang ng et al. And of course, after the name of the authors, you have to write the year. Okay, kung kailan pinablish or kung kailan nyo siya kung kailan nga siya pinablish. And then, itong susceptibility test, fungi, clinical, and laboratory, and so on. Since this is the title of the book. Okay, it's the title of the book, and of course, the subtopic. Okay, and of course, retrieve from, lalo na kung galing sa internet, you have to copy the URL. And kung maglalagay nga pala kayo ng bibliography, make sure na, syempre, nasa unahan yung letter B kasi siya ang alphabetically arranged to. Tapos, sinundan nito, Danesi. Okay, kung papansin niyo, lahat sila ay alphabetically arranged. Okay? So, kung ayan, may end tayo dito, sabihin no date. Don't worry, I have a separate video for this. So, for now, kung wala pa, so ito muna ang susundan yung pattern when you are writing the bibliography. This is the end of our lesson vlog about the essential parts of a research plan. I hope you learned something from this vlog, and I hope that after you watch this video lesson, you are able to write your own research plan with your own research title, with your own research project. And ayun, thank you so much for watching. And up next, we're going to discuss about the proofreading and how, or the tips on how to write a research paper. Ano yung mga words, kung paano ba nagko-construct ng mga words when it comes to writing of the research paper. So, this is me once again, Teacher Tin, your research teacher for today. Syempre, kung bago ka pa lang, please consider subscribing. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell for more updates in Research 2. And I hope to see you next time on my next vlog. Abangan proofreading. So, goodbye and have a good day. For you. Bye. Oh, Hoy! Kung hindi ka pa nagsusubscribe, please consider subscribing. Salamat!